we just have a crowd that likes to trickle in late, be fashionably late. So we're gonna give it a few minutes.
Right.
Um, so I'll do a quick intro, and then I'll pass the mic to you so you can introduce yourself because you'll do a much better, job of that. I've known Nahid for going on what, year and a half, almost 2 years now, right? We're obviously both a part of the Sub Two community. That's where well, actually technically Nancy met you first, right?
Right.
You guys connected, and then we had the privilege of meeting you and learning from you. And I know that you've been doing for several years now, a number of years. You've been doing stopping foreclosures and doing short sales and been in and around real estate and doing investing, right?
Right.
So a wealth of
Right.
knowledge there. Taught us a bunch of things, and we're privileged to have you here tonight. And maybe you can kind of tell us a little bit about the foreclosure process and short sale process, and then we can open it up to some questions, some Q&A that people might have.
Sure.
But yeah,
Hello, everyone.
yeah, that'd be awesome.
Great. My name is Nahid Alipour, and I've been in real estate since 2000. I started my career. I started doing uh, real estate starting with foreclosure. I had a friend that was helping homeowner with their loan modification in short sale and all kind of work out with the lender, and he asked if I can help. And I've always been fascinated about real estate, and I wanted to be an architect when I was growing up, but unfortunately that didn't happen. But it took me in a different path, which it turned out to be amazing. So it was like 2000 that I got my license and started working with him, helping homeowner uh, with the foreclosure in Dallas. And then slowly just progressed. And I start working for Freddie Mac, doing BPOs, and then working with HUD, doing BPOs, and and all that stuff. If you don't know what BPO is broker price opinion. I used to go to nasty houses and you know take pictures and give them comps and kind of consult them about the pricing and stuff like that. And then other bank. So then I moved to California in 2013, and I still go back and forth between Texas and California, and start continuing doing that for Freddie Mac, doing the BPO. And then in 2015, I met on an REI group. I went to REI meetup, and they were talking about notes, and I'm like, what is that? You know, well, there were a bunch of investors that they were investing on paper asset, mortgages. And that was like all of a sudden, like it was a total different new experience because of the way they were doing things. And um, that's where I kind of realized my whole career turned into a 360. I used to like help out the consumer. Now I know, I was on the other side of the door. Now I'm on this side, and I know how the lender works and what do I have to do from the lender side to help out the homeowner side. And you know, it just uh, I have been just doing that ever since, and it's been a wild ride, needless to say, with all the stuff that happened in 2008 and what we're going through right now. You know, and it's a very delicate area that we are uh, touching, because the homeowners that they are in foreclosures, they are um, protected um, community. They're protected by law. They're protected because they're what they call them. They're vulnerable class, that everyone can take advantage of them really easily. And that's one thing that I stress to all the investors, that you need to be like very, very careful the way you approach the people that they are in foreclosure, because they can take you down really easily and say, I didn't know, and I was in no unknown, and they or took it, didn't want to sell my house, didn't want to do this, and then you are going to be in default, not them. That's why, like, if you go to the, your mortgage lender side, you're going to see all the disclosure that it's out there, and all the, things that they try to protect them beforehand, that to send to the homeowner and all that stuff. So it's, when you're approaching them, it's very, very easy to get yourself in trouble. And in general, when the homeowner, people think that, oh, it's, I'll talk to the homeowner and, they own the house. In actuality, the moment they are behind, that house belongs to the lender. Whatever you do, you need to go to the lender and negotiate with the lender. And basically the homeowner is just the, per se, the representative for the lender to just sign up the documents and to make sure that the house is in good shape or stay protected till that was sold. You know, and there's every state has their own different nuances on, what the timeline is going to be, where, what, like the rate of redemption, when the foreclosure is going to start, and all of that stuff. And it's different from state to state. The shorter state are like, Texas, California, and it goes to longer state that, like New York, that, the foreclosure timeline is like 2,500 days. And we're not even talking about the right of redemption after that. So it's just, when you're trying to pick a foreclosure as one of your, um, you know, avenue to get into the real estate, you need to figure out what is your exit strategy is going to be. Because again, I know there's been a trend that everybody's like, oh, I'm just gonna talk to the homeowner and gonna try to get the house as cheap as possible, as low as possible. There is a lot of meat on the bone when you're trying to get the foreclosure, get into the deal from the, like, obtain one. But you need to kind of like be careful, um, first of all, on your timeline, and second of all, on your entry, because the you can go and reinstate and take over sub 2, but that is as with the foreclosure. Anything other than that, it would be a conventional sale. You can't do like, the let me back up. Whenever the homeowner is in foreclosure, if the investor wants to purchase the home, the lender, first of all, is going to try to see what they can do to bring the homeowner back to the table to pay, because the only way the bank will make their money is from making interest, getting interest from a loan. That is the only way the bank works. So their whole position and, try will be, when am I going to talk to this homeowner, trying to get back, make them pay, put the money back, the past due back in the loan, and then extend their time, or increase their interest rate. However that they want to do that, they can do that. They're going to try to do it because that's their only way of making money. So, however, when and by law, when the homeowner happens, they have to go through the workout. It doesn't matter if the homeowner not living in the house is to the stud, it's not livable, they don't want it, whatever. They have to go through the process of the nuances that they have to go through and give the homeowner a workout option, whether it's a loan modification, whether it's a forbearance or whatever. Um, if you don't know what the forbearance is when that's one of the workout that the lender will give them. It's they give them 3 months to get their life together, stop the foreclosure, stop the payment. That's their forbearance. And after that 3 months, they're going to say, okay, this is how much you're going to owe, and you have to give us that in lump sum. Or you can pay, or we can put it at the end of the loan, and then we're going to start new. Or we're going to change the time of the loan, like from, add another 30, 20 years or 10 years to it, make it the 30-year, 40-year loan, or, um, like 30-year loan if they didn't have much, time left. Again, restructuring their loan. So try to help them to get back on paying. If they can't do that and all that stuff, then it goes to a foreclosure. It's going to go to the auction. So these times are the times that we can help, but the only way that we can help is to reinstate their loan, pay their past due, and take over sub two. Sometimes the entry fee is a lot. They're way behind. Like I have homeowners that they haven't paid for 4 years, and their past due is like over 250,000, and the market value is like 400,000. That's like almost 50%, and it just doesn't make sense. So in that time, you go to short sell, meaning trying to get, sell the house lower than what the ARV is, because it doesn't make sense to be sold in a market at the market value. It's got too much repairs that needs to be done to it, and there's the market is not, the value is not there for the market. That's when you go and try to negotiate with the bank, and you have to ask them for, they shorten their loan, ask them to accept lower than what they owe, what they need to get, and what the market is. And that's what they call that short sale. And with short sale, you need to have a real estate agent in both side, a buyer side and the seller side. And you need to have someone that is going to negotiate with the bank and knows how to talk to the bank and what to do and go through their nuances. And it's not a 1 week, 2 week, a month, it's 2 months process. It takes a bit of a time, but it definitely needs someone that be able to speak to the lender and knows how they're, what they're looking for. And but it could be very, very lucrative. I have, I just I just closed one in Florida that the ARV was like 750, but it needed work. And the appraisal came out as is condition of 595. And I got a short sale approval for 475 for the homeowner, and also got the $10,000 moving expenses for the homeowner. That's also one of the incentives that you guys can talk to your homeowner that the lender already has a moving expense plugged into their expenses for the homeowner. You don't have to pay your homeowner, anything to move out of the house or accept you. You could say that I will be able to get you some moving expenses. And I have like got the lender will pay up to $10,000 of a moving expense, but the homeowner has to be living in the house in order to get that money. Otherwise, they won't do that, because their thing is that you have to be in the house to take care of the house, and then you actually need it for moving expenses. But if you already have moved out, then you don't need that in the house. They have to put that money to secure the property and make sure that their asset is not, getting ruined or anything like that. So otherwise, the rest, it goes, after you send out all the document and start the short sale, it's all pretty much goes the same way as your regular sale goes, but it's going to take more time because the thumb doesn't know where the index finger is. So they have to, the departments have to go through their, okay, I'm going to send the appraisal. So I have to send it to the loss mitigation to order appraisal. And then from that point, it's got to go to the liquidation and all that stuff. So it's going to take a little bit of time to the process go through and get approved. And when the bank underwriter approves it, then you got the, green light to sell. And that's pretty much, what the process of the short sale or the foreclosure goes, on the short sale part of it. And you know, again, there are a lot of things could be happening internally with the bank. Sometimes they're fast and the process can be finished within 3 months or 4 months. Sometimes it's going to go, 6 months or a year. So, but again, you get a lot more, um, and you have a lot more meat on the bone when you go with short sale, and also you help out the homeowner that they won't go through foreclosure. So
Nigel, can you give a brief kind of explanation of short sale? Like, what is it for some of the people that aren't familiar?
yeah, as I said, the short sale is when the lender will shorten their note, meaning that, they have loaned this person $100,000 minus the down payment, you know, to buy this property. So they have a loan of, 90,000, we'll say, on that the borrower needs to pay them for the house. When the market value is not there, yeah, when the market value is not there and the homeowner is already behind, this is going to be a troublesome. So they have to shorten out, they have to cut out or take less for that 90,000 loan that they have. But if you guys know how the banks work, they create, $10 out of $1. And that is pretty much the same thing as the lenders are. So the amount of money that they have on that loan, it's a lot less than the 90,000. It's a very complicated process that it's when I heard it, when I understood it, it was just like I don't get it. It's just kind of weird. But they be able to sell these notes or to the open market for way more than what is worth. That's what they call a paper asset, because it's not real money. The value is in that signature that the borrower has in that paper, that an IOU. The value is on that IOU. That's why they be able to short sell it or get less for the amount of loan that they owe for the, from the buyer, if that makes sense. So the I know someone says, what determines a short sale approval? It's basically the way they determine that, again, going back to the loan that they have, is they will figure out what the investor actually invests to own that note, to own that paper, with all the past payments, lawyer fees, and all the other fees that they have. So they add that up, they come up with a certain number, and then whatever appraisal that they're going to get and the offer that they have, then they're going to come up with their number that they want. That's the max that they want. It really doesn't make any difference than a regular seller, but lenders are a little bit more, a lot less emotional about the sale. They're just more about the numbers than about like, oh, I invested 100,000, and the market, it says, 120,000, and that's what I want, or whatever, or something like that. They're just more on the numbers, and because they know that they can make money, they make way more money on that paper asset than actual. When they buy that, they buy that in like 10 cents in a dollar, especially when it's in foreclosure. 10 cents in a dollar to 20 cents in a dollar. When I started in in 2015, it was like literally 5-10 cents in a dollar. Now it's a little bit higher. And if the homeowner is paying for their notes and they are on time, that's like 75 to 80 cents in a dollar, because they know that the homeowner's got a good credit and all of that stuff. So, and then when they calculate all those numbers, they have their own underwriter. The underwriter will approve it, and then they send the approval, and then that's what it is, ready to go and close. So that's pretty much what the short sale is. That it's a little bit more cumbersome than the other workout. Their loan modification, it's like they have to send out all their documents, their tax, their income to the lender to see. The lender has to approve to see, are they going to be able to pay, and work out, and then try to find out a workout for them, as I said, to put the past due back on the in the at the end of their notes, or make them to include it in their payment, or just change the course of the loan, extend the length, increase the interest rate, all that stuff. Try to come up with some kind of a solution so the homeowner can pay. But these days, the loan modification that I have seen, it's not good. It's pretty bad, because everybody coming in from 3, 4, 5% interest rate, and now the interest rates are like way up higher, are at 6 or 7, and definitely that will not make the homeowner to be able to pay back for sure. They're what they're behind on. So that's where I think it's a very good opportunity for all the investor to be able to help them out and take over and,
Yeah.
find
Can you
something
speak?
like really good.
Yeah, can you speak a little bit about the repercussions for the seller? Because when we talk to them, we want to be heard as trying to help them out. So,
Mhm.
what are the repercussions for the seller on a short sale? What are the repercussions for the seller for a foreclosure?
Well,
Can you go through those
yeah,
consequences so we can present those to the
sure,
seller?
sure,
Yeah.
sure. Um, when the homeowner, if the homeowner get foreclosed on, obviously that will gonna affect their credit. You know, when they're behind, they have to be in different state. As I said, the timeline is different. Like in Texas, you have to be behind 120 days, so 3 months, before they send the notice of default. They can't do anything if you are not 120 days behind. Even if you call, and say, hey, I want to pay, like you're 1 month behind, you're 2 months behind, and you call them and say, hey, I can't pay, but I need to get a workout. They're like, we can't do anything till you're 3 months behind. So when they are 3 months behind, that's when they're going to start sending the notice of default and to start opening up about on a conversation of what do you want to do? How do you want to resolve this past due, that 3 months past due that you have? And if they can't come up with some kind of a resolution, and it that time that they're going to say, okay, we're going to send you a workout package. We need your, bank statement. We need your pay stub. We need your tax return to figure out, how much you're making, what you're doing, what you owe, and all of that stuff. And in the meantime, lender will pull their own credit report for the homeowner also. They like do a complete background check on them to figure out what are why they got into this situation to begin with. Was it medical? Was it jail? Was it, loss of work or what? I mean, they will do a huge due diligence on them, trying to figure out, like they said, I used to be one of them, door knockers in there to see, if they're living in the house, or try to have a conversation face to face with them to see what's going on. And when they can't succeed on that, then they're going to, have a notice of sale, that they're going to sell the house at the auction. And um, the I know that being behind on your mortgage is bad. It's going to affect their credit for sure. But when they get foreclosed on, they won't be able to obtain, their credit will be pretty much shut out, and definitely won't be able to get another loan for 7 years, and that will stay on their, record for 7 years. And and the lenders, definitely, if they want to buy a house or something, definitely that would be a biggest factor on what their interest rate is going to be, what their term is going to be, and all that stuff.
Yeah, the only
So
repercussion is bad credit. They're not going to continue to chase them for the money they owe. Is that right?
yes, they do. They're going to send a 1099 at the end of the year. That's another thing. They're going to send them a 1099 that, hey, you owe us this, and but the homeowner can go back and say, I didn't get anything, I didn't make anything, but they're going to send them a 1099 for sure. And even if they sell it in short sale, they will send the 1099 unless, being asked for, that they need to clear that off. And
So with the short sale, are they going to report that to the credit bureaus?
yeah,
So
yeah,
so there's no difference really between a short sale and a foreclosure, just in the amount they owe. They will get reports.
no, in short sell, it's going to, in their credit, it's going to say settled. Like,
Okay.
it's gonna say that it's settled. So it's definitely, the impact is a lot less than
Okay.
it is foreclosure.
Very good. So that's the next best thing.
Yeah.
Uh,
For
yeah.
them, it's any kind of workout that they can do with the lender, whether it's going to be a deed in lieu, which is deed in lieu is like signing, I don't want the house anymore. And I'm just going to sign the deed to you guys. But they still have to get approved for that.
Can
And
they
if,
negotiate
and
with the bank with that and say,
there's,
you can have the keys as long as you don't report it? It's on the credit report?
they have to get approved for that. If
Yeah.
they don't get approved for it, it doesn't matter what the bank will report. The bank will report them anyway for the past due.
Okay.
So you know what I mean? But if whether they come up with to a certain amount of workout, that's what is going to lower or higher, like ruin their credit. If they don't come up with any workout and that goes to auction and it be sold out, then it's going to be on your credit for 7 years. But if they come to some kind of a workout, it's going to be settled debt, and that has a little less, little less damage to their credit.
So essentially, we have to be the white knight on the horse, as it were, and
Yes.
do a sub 2. That's the only way that will rescue them.
The only way that you'll be able to do creative and be able to do creative is reinstatement and taking over.
Yeah, that will rescue them. Yeah,
That will rescue them. There's not as I said, do not force them to go do a loan modification and then you go take over.
no,
Because that loan modification, if you guys read through the package or be in any mortgage portal, you're going to see that they are so big on mortgage scam. Practically what we are doing and kind of telling them, it's kind of sound like a mortgage scam. You know what I mean? If you read through what the CFPB, what the HUD and all of that, it says, but we know that what we are trying to do is to help them out. We're not trying to scam them.
Yeah, I'm surprised the government don't outrule loan modification because they're in foreclosure, for goodness sakes. How on earth are they gonna pay more money?
Well, yeah. I mean, right now, it is that way. But I done my own loan modification for myself on my house, and I got a 2% interest. The time that it was, because they have to go by what the going interest rate is. So right now it doesn't make sense because the interest rate is too high, but in other times it was perfect. And again, they go case by case. There's a company called NACA that they are like the biggest advocate of the homeowners. I'm going to actually have an interview with them tomorrow. Not tomorrow, on the 13th. They're like huge. They are contracted by the government to just help out homeowner to talk to their lender and come to a resolution. They're like in LA, they came into the Angela Stadium. People were lining up like from the night before to get in, and they have contract with all the lender in the United States. They come over there, sit there. Homeowner comes in with their, problem, talk to them, get the modification right then and there, and then done. Or you want to buy a house and you're low income. Right now, at this moment, they're the lowest people that they have a rate at 4%. But you have to go through the rigmarole of like going through the training and all that stuff, and you be able to get a loan just on your approval of payment. They don't pull credit. You don't need to have asset. You don't need to have down payment. Nothing. As long as you have a payment history on something, you're approved for them. So there are a lot of different programs, and then also that each state has a relief program for the homeowner, that this money is sitting in the state, and each state has their allowance, that if the homeowner is behind, they can call and say, hey, I'm behind on this much. And if they get approved, they're going to pay all the way to the water bill for the homeowner and pay their lender almost to a year forward of their, payments, so they can catch up. That's why, like, it's the, they're having a note is so much lucrative, and enticing the homeowner to use these kind of program. It's more beneficial for the lender than it is, and also it is for the homeowner too, in the long run. So
How do banks tell people? What was that? Is that NACA, or what did you say?
yeah, NACA is a company that it has a contract with the government. That they can go to and get help. But the mortgage relief in each state, when you call out a lender and they go to their memorandum of like the disclosure of what they say, that all of these are going to be recorded and all that stuff, they will tell them that you can call your state and ask for help. And each state, as long as they are going to get approved for it, they pay for it. And the homeowner, they pay like a year behind and a year forward on their past due and the forward payment.
They have
if
to
they
pay
get
that back?
no
Or,
no
so what is that?
Nope.
Is that tax dollars or tax
Yep.
dollars you're paying for this?
Yep.
That's awesome.
It's our tax. Yep.
That's the, and
Yep.
then I love how hard my tax dollars work. It works.
Absolutely.
I do.
And a lot of people abuse it too, but and a lot of people don't get qualified for it. And in each state is different. It's like in California, they pay up to 80,000 of that past due. And if you're more than that, then sometimes they say no, we can't. And sometimes you say we only pay up to, and then you have to pay the rest. And they can, the lender and that they can come up with some kind of a something, and again, work out.
banks, people that are in foreclosure towards NACA and these other
Yeah,
programs?
NACA is a private company that has a contract with the lender. So the bank will not push them for NACA. That's something that, me and and we could offer the homeowner and say, hey, you can call NACA, because we can't, like, the only way we can offer them a modification or a workout if they want to stay in their house is through NACA, an organization like that. You can't be able to offer them that, oh, I'm going to help you to go through your modification, but you have to pay me like, this much. That's illegal. I can't even do that anymore after 2008. Before that, we could offer that, help them out with it. But right now, NACA will do that for free. And if they just reach out to their lender, they will do that. And if they,
And this has to be for a homestead house only.
no, it doesn't
Oh, it
matter.
could be.
Yeah,
So if your
it could
tenant
be.
stops paying and then you fall behind, then you
It-
could go to NACA or some of these programs and
If
file
it's your second home.
if it's your second home.
Yes, if it's your second home. If it's not, then if
Oh,
it's
but it can't.
your,
Okay, so you can't be a landlord. It doesn't work for
no,
landlords.
no,
Okay. Hey,
no,
so
it
your
has to be.
primary home or your second home, your vacation home, whatever.
Right. As an investor, no, you don't have a chance. They don't give you no workout, no nothing. It's
They're
just strictly you got to go to the short sale.
they're helping people save
Yeah.
their vacation homes too. I love that.
Right. Yeah.
Is there an opportunity to buy the paper off the bank and help the seller in that way? And do a
Yeah,
little
but
more-
but that road is so windy that you won't be able to get it through the bank.
Because that would be a solution for the bank. They don't want the bad paper, right? So I come along and say, I'll buy the paper
Yeah,
off.
but
Yeah.
but they even make money on that bad paper.
Yeah. That's why I would want to buy it myself, right?
Yeah, but the whole thing is that the bank is not, how do I say it? As I said, I worked from 2000 to 2015, and I didn't even know. I couldn't even get to the REO department on them, because they, as I said, the thumb doesn't know where the index things are, and definitely the asset department on the bank, it's way deep
I
in
see what you're saying. They're
that
not
you
really
want.
set up for it. They don't have people knocking on the door asking to buy the paper.
No, but there are private lenders. Like I have a friend that has over 300, paper asset that he started the small, by, there are people that mom and pop, I mean, those that they do seller finance, the mom and pop that they own the house free and clear, and you go and you do, you ask them to do a seller finance on you. That's the note.
Yeah.
They're holding a note, so you can approach them and say, hey, I would like to buy your note.
Yeah.
So that's how he started, and that's how most people start. And he was working in lucrative real estate, like for a construction company, and going to school, getting his master on real estate, and he just quit the job and then went and start his own fund. And now he's got over 300 paper asset. And there's a huge convention right now, starting tomorrow, in Dallas, that all of the lenders and the servicing companies and all that are coming over there, and that's the huge, you know, um, the mingling and finding out where to buy notes, how to buy notes, who's the servicer, who's the insurance, and all that stuff.
So is it a law or something that's stopping the bank selling to private individuals the paper? Or is it just the way
they won't, they won't sell it to one, because they're not into business of selling a onesie and twosie.
Right.
You need to like talk about 200 notes at like 20-40 million dollars, and that's not just
I got
in me and your capacity.
So it's for the Wall Street guys. They'll do it.
Yes, that's why you see BlackRock and all of these people mostly have the access to those things. Then they pick up the best one for themselves, and then they trickle it down, and those that they don't want, it goes to mainstream, like me and you, as a onesie, twosie, or whatever that you'd be able to find.
Yeah.
You know, like I like one of my very, very, very first note that I bought, it was in 2015, and it was in Chicago in this city called Country Hill and Country Club Hill. It was pretty nice. It was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath townhouse, row house type of a thing with 2-car garage. And the homeowner was like in trouble at first. He said that he wants to reinstate, but he was going to do a hard money loan to pay up his, past due. And like, no, 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 you can't do that. It's like coming from a, hole and falling into a whale. So let's just figure something out here. And so you can't pay. So he did a deed in lieu, and I gave him I said, as long as you keep the house clean, I'll pay you $1,000 and, and sign the deed. That's it. And he signed the deed, but he didn't keep the house clean. So he didn't get his $1,000. So we went through and, I went ahead and listed the property. I bought that note for 15,000, and I sold it for 59. So, and there was still enough meat on it just for someone to go through and fix it up and sell it for themselves. I mean, at that point, it's just a gravy. There's so many things you can do with it. But, there's a lot of things that can be done with the foreclosures. It's just you need to know the way to do it ethically and to be in a win-win for everyone. Even when the house is sold out and, they're in redemption period, you can still obtain the property and make some money out of it. So it's a definitely is something that will help out. You have to have a heart of mainly the homeowner than yourself for you know what I mean? Looking at it that way. So let me see as like one of the can you get a approval for loan mod after filing bankruptcy? Well, the bankruptcy lawyer, it depends on what think about this. Any kind of workout that they're going to do besides short sale and the deed in lieu, forbearance and the loan modification. These are the only time that the homeowner wants to keep the home and wants to stay in the home. If you're offering them money to do these things and then you want to take over, you're acting illegally and you can get yourself in trouble, because all over that paper it's asking the homeowner, you are going to stay in this house, right? Every time you call the lender is asking, so the homeowner is staying at the house, right? And all of those calls is being recorded. So you don't want to put yourself in a bind later that, oh, I didn't know. So you don't want to do that. So the loan modification and all of that stuff is for when the homeowner want to keep the house and want to still stay in the house. So in the bankruptcy case, they just going to, add that into their debt to be paid. Does that make sense? And I don't know, any other questions?
Who had a question? This.
Anyway.
Let's see.
It says, so I don't know what Ratam says, can you house hack with New York or NACA, you mean? Is that what you mean? You can't, I mean, I don't know what you mean by house hack. House hack is meaning that you are, you're buying a house and then you're renting out other rooms, so you are not paying, the rent out of the house. It's making you to live free. That's what they call that, house hack. So I'm not sure what you mean by
Yeah,
your
Rob,
question.
if you're able to unmute and elaborate, unless you meant that.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I was just mentioning, like, say, for example, you get a house under NACA and you have available rooms. I mean, you're working still, but you have other people that are paying, I guess, for your living as well, right? So it could be a room
Yeah, house.
or a couple
Yeah.
apartments.
Yeah, a house hack. Yeah, house hack is that's what it is. It's like you're buying a house and renting the rest of the house so you don't have to pay any mortgage. Yeah, and NACA has a program. As I said, they're if you want to buy a house with NACA, you have to go through their loan qualification, but there's no uh, what they call it, restriction. And if you want to buy like a multifamily duplex or triplex, if you qualify for the loan, you can buy a multifamily or you can buy a single family. That is like, that is like getting a loan instead of getting it from the bank, you're getting from the NACA. NACA works for people with the low income and people that they have problem with their mortgages. Does that make sense? So it's like another form of lending. They have different department. One needs help out the foreclosure. One, it helps out people that they want to buy a house, but they can't qualify in a conventional way. So if you mean that you
Makes
want to,
sense.
if you want to
Yeah,
buy a house with them, then yeah, you can go ahead and get qualified, but it's going to take a bit, but it definitely is worth it. It's definitely worth it.
yeah, I've been to like a NACA meeting where they,
Yeah.
they have people sit down and explain the
Yeah.
program. So I was
Yeah.
just curious on that.
Yeah. Yeah, they're great. They're great, amazing people. That's for sure. I mean, it's like they the guy started it on his own and it just becomes
Oh,
like a
I appreciate it.
phenomenal,
Thank you.
You're welcome. No problem. Any other question, guys? I hope that answered all of your questions. So I have Jose. Is Jose Blanco still here?
Yeah, Jose.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. If you want to mute one of your things,
Sorry.
yeah, that's okay. Do you want to explain, or did you get your answer, or on?
You mean I had a lead in the week
Mm-hmm.
that went to foreclosure 2 times.
Mm-hmm.
So the first time he said he declared bankruptcy
Uh-huh.
and he
That's
was
how.
paying around
Mm-hmm.
3,000.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second time he got a very good deal. I mean, I guess, where he lowered to half of that for 3 months, and then he ended up paying 1,200. So I was like, and he was even like thinking that it was too good to be true. So as you were speaking about NACA, I thought maybe it was that what he did.
Oh well. Think about NACA is the vehicle that is going to help him to get to that result.
Mm-hmm.
He could have used NACA to negotiate for him to get that kind of rate, but he doesn't have to, because he could have just talked to his lender, call and say, hey, I need help, and I'm in trouble and I'm trying to figure this out and I want to keep my home and I want to stay in my home. And they, after seeing all his documents, they said, no, that's what you can, qualify, and this is what you were going to give you. Does that
Good.
make sense?
Yeah,
Yeah. The
totally. So
first
it's
thing,
possible. Yeah.
the first thing that when I, tell everyone that the first thing when you're facing these homeowners, just like, have you talked to your lender? Because they all have a taboo of, oh my God, they're gonna like, kill me if I talk to them. No, they actually want you to help. They want to help, sometimes, and they help through their guideline. They have their own guideline or how far they can go and they cannot go. And for sure, you need to be able to know how to talk to them and be persistent. The thing is this, that they are just, think about of your VA. They are like your VA sitting on the other line, on the other side, and trying to solve the issue for the homeowner. They don't know what they don't know. They just went through 3 weeks of the training of the company, and the company said, oh, this is what you're going to say and this is what you're going to do. And if that person on the other side of the phone doesn't know, they're not going to come and say, oh, I don't know what you're talking about, so I can't. They just going to say, I'm sorry, we don't have that program and we can't help you. And they just be quick to get the homeowner out off the phone. But they just have to be persistent. Okay, let me talk to supervisor. Let me talk to the superior. This is what I'm trying to do. What can I do? Till they get an answer. Sometimes it's going to be cumbersome and sitting on the phone for 2-3 hours to just get to someone that knows their, I'm sorry, from their head from their tail. But, at the end, it will be worth it.
That makes sense. I can relate because I'm a VA. So
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. So, they give you a training for 3 weeks and then, they expect you to like know everything. And definitely the laws in the lending in what government is expecting, it's way deeper than just that 3 weeks. But you just have to have a heart of, when you're on the other side, and just make sure that they're going to get their help. So
That's great, Nahid. Thank you so
you're
much.
welcome. No
Very
problem.
clarifying.
No problem. No problem. Any other question?
Bagu has a question.
Yeah.
Hey, Bagu.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi.
Yeah. Hi.
Thank you for doing this.
No
I
problem.
think you did go over this, but I'm still a little bit confused. So
Sure.
for the homeowner, I'm thinking from the homeowner's point of view,
Mhm.
what would be better for them? A short sale. I'm thinking of it, the short sale would be better for them than the full getting foreclosed on, or I have that.
Okay. So let's explain it this way. If we start from the beginning to the end, the process, the way it goes, homeowners behind for 3 months. Something happened, they can't pay. 3 months pass by. Okay. And then the lender, it's going to kick the lender to reaction. Oh, okay, they can't pay. So we need to start the foreclosure process. And that starts with the notice of default, filing the notice of default. In different state, it is a different way. Some state they have to put it in newspaper, some they have to file it in a court, some it's file it in the county and all that stuff. So, and that has a period of the time. I'm just going to say, like in California and Texas, they don't pay for 120 days. The notice of default starts, and then another 120 days, then the notice of sale will be sent. That your house will be sold at this time, at this, place for this amount of time. And they cannot ask more than what they owe on that note. So that if the homeowner owes $200,000, they're going to start the bid at $200,000. And they
So
can't
it's-
sell it any lower. Does that
Oh.
make sense?
So is it the whatever is the balance is due?
Whatever the balance is due, including the fees, past dues, and all of that stuff.
Okay, it's not the amount of what they bought it for. It's the amount.
No,
See, let's
because
say they bought it for 300 and they have now what they owe with, let's say, fees and everything. I'm just make a number up with the fees and everything up. They owe now 175. So that's what the bid will start with,
Yes.
170.
Yes. If the ARV is 500,000, but they only owe 100, like I did one, like the one that I did with one of the sub 2 people, it was they own 120,000, but the ARV was like 300,000. And when they buy it at the auction, they're only paying 120, or if whatever the winning bid is, but the bid start at that, whatever the payoff balance is, and whatever it, and what it this is another thing that some people bank on that and then make money out of it is, for example, the house like worth 500,000 and their note is 100,000. The bid is start at 100,000 and it will get sold at $200,000. By law, the lender cannot keep that $100,000 extra for themselves. That will be in the county, stay in the county. And most poor homeowner has no clue that they are entitled to that money. That is their money. That excess money is the homeowner money.
Yeah, I help them get that money back.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's what I do as well.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, so that's something that it's, they need to know, and most of them they don't know. So then the foreclosure is the final act, the final act that it's going to, like, you sold the house,
Okay, so
what
explain what happens. It goes to foreclosure and no one bids on the property. The bank then own the property, right?
yes
And they hate that. Can you
Yeah.
approach the bank and buy the paper at that point?
you can if you are at the auction and no one bought, bid on it, you can, after they close it, you can go to that trustee and say, hey, can I, is the bank is going to be open for me to purchase this property? Sometimes it's yes, sometimes it's no.
Right.
And then you have to go through a rabbit hole of finding the REO department. But usually by that time, if you can't get it at the auction, then it's going to be kind of hard, because then they have to go through their own process of,
Which I'm a realtor, so I understand the bank then has a realtor usually to do
Yes.
REOs to get rid of
Yes.
the properties. I
yes,
just want to try and circumvent that, so
yes.
it didn't get bid up, at the
Yeah.
auction. Then
Sometimes you can, sometimes you can, and sometimes it just all depends on what the trustee is willing to call the bank and go through all of that stuff or not, how the bank is open and what the lender is like. They could be a small lender like me and you that it's going to be beneficial to have that foreclosure. But if it's Bank of America, no, it won't.
No.
Do you know
I
what I
think
mean?
more,
Yeah,
I
the
think
Bank of
more of a
America
unit.
doesn't want it because
That's
it's
right.
like it's going to be more in their book. But for me, whoop de doo, yeah. Now I have a $500,000 property that I can bank on.
So you
That I
have
got.
these tiny little banks, and just a few of these bad deals can sink them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it just depends, you know,
yeah.
because think about it. On the other side, they can go also sell it in REO and make profit.
Mm,
You know what I mean? So
yeah.
it just all relative on what the bank policy is, how they operate, what they do, and what is their budget and all of that stuff.
Yeah. All
I
right.
have a follow-up question.
Yeah.
So let's say the homeowner decides to do a short sale. So
Mhm.
then what is the for them? What are so my
The incentive for them.
what is the incentive for them, and then how long does it take for them to acquire another property?
The short sale, when they do short sale, when they accept short sale and they get approved for the short sale, that will show as a settled debt on their credit report, which is a lot less damaging than a foreclosure. And it stays in their record, you know, a couple of years, not 7 years. And they won't be able to get, definitely when they try to get a loan for the house for another property, you know, settled debt, it has effect, but doesn't have as effect as a foreclosure because the lender are going to look at that. What gives me a guarantee that you're not going to go in? I don't have to foreclose on you. You know what I mean? So that's what the definitely some kind of a workout. If they don't want to keep the house, definitely short sale is the route for them to go. And definitely you guys have to encourage them to do that because it's going to be a win-win for the homeowner, the investor, a little bit of the lender, but you know, at least they're not going to lose the asset. And I mean, it's not going to affect their, you know, bottom line as much.
So my
And it's,
understanding is, so for the lender to I'm just trying to think, okay, I'm
yeah.
just trying to put myself in each person's position in their brain.
Mhm.
For their lender, for them to approve it, they have their own circumstances, and then they approve it because they have certain criteria then?
Yeah. Yes, they do have their own criteria. Like, you know, I put it in a small way. Like you buy a car, you pay $1,000 for it. You put a brand new hubcap and, you know, deck it out and all that stuff and spend another $500, $600 on it. You want a certain amount for that asset, for that car. Someone comes in and say, hey, you know, well, there's really no market for this, and we're only going to pay you $900. You know, what are you going to do? You have to kind of like, okay, do I want to keep it and go with the upkeep, or I just going to let it go for 900? Does that make sense? Like this is how it kind of works out. They're going to like figure out how much they have invested on it. And trust me, as I said, they don't really, they make $10 out of $1. So they really haven't invested as much on it. So they still make profit, even though that it's freaking looking lost to us. But everyone, it makes money in the bank. It's just, we're not even going to go to the banking part. If you know about fractional lending, if you see that, then you kind of understand what's going on. I mean, the best way you can actually understand that is there's a book called Creature of Jekyll Island. Creatures of Jekyll Island. It's basically how the Federal Reserve and the IRS started back in 1900. When you read that, there's an audiobook on it, your mind will be blown of how this whole thing started and how it works. Unfortunately, not to our benefit. So definitely it's going to be it's very mind like eye-opening, that one. And there's 2 other like series if you guys want to watch. It's in Hulu, it's like The Man Who Made America.
Yeah, I saw that was
Yeah, so you kind of understand how the banking, how the whole money works. And and then if you want to follow that and kind of button the whole thing up, is the Titan that Who Made America, then you're going to see that we really don't have any power. And you're going to see how JP Morgan and Chase kind of changed the whole face of this whole thing. And that's where we are kind of feeding off of it, so
you're a wealth of knowledge. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
you're welcome. No problem.
I told you guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Been looking
Yeah.
forward to this night for a month now.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's I mean, I'm just fascinated in how this whole thing works. As I said, real estate, it was my passion, and then when I got into working at foreclosure, it's just like, I can't let these homeowners get screwed like this. It's just it's just not fair. But we have to find a way that is going to work for all of us, because if they don't want to play ball, we're all going to go down. So we have to make the lenders enticed to make it work for all of us, because they definitely have more power than we do. But definitely we need to have, there are a lot of ways that we can change the course of this whole system, but it just takes one person at a time.
Well, I know the market wanted to change it a number of times. Like when the big banks fail, the government just steps in and bails them out. I mean, market forces them into trying to wipe them out, because they need to be wiped out.
You definitely need to read the Creatures of the Jekyll Island, and then you understand that how the bailout works and how the whole thing works. I mean, they're really not losing money. They're backed by life insurance, to be honest. If you guys, have heard of that, they are the bank. All banks, they keep their money in the life insurance that called like Bully, and or COLI is like a corporate life insurance. I mean, they're nothing that to die, but insurance company, for each dollar that they lend out, by law they have to have $10.
Yeah.
But the bank, for each dollar that they lend out, that for every $10 that they lend out, they have $1. So that's another rabbit hole for another time. But they're not losing money. It's just all through the time what they have done to throw that back to us.
But don't forget that
Taxpayers.
the money has on the bank is the depositors, and they lend it out. So
Yeah,
they make
but-
money 3 times already with
Yep.
the insurance, with the depositors, with
correct?
a loan. So they
Yeah.
make 3 times the money. They're
That's
with
not
wait
that's
for-
not even that's not even the way they make the money. As I said, for every $10 they loan out $1. They have their money in the insurance company, so it's like, as I said, it becomes a different rabbit hole that we're gonna go get into. But basically, they make money from you, and they make money from the insurance company. So that's like something that you know we all can do, but it was not known to us how to do.
Let's plant the seed, because I want to have you back, and
Yes.
then we want to talk about life insurance and the policy, and
Yeah, the infinite banking.
and
Yep.
that's a whole nother blow your
Yeah,
mind
as a,
topic.
yeah.
But I feel like we have a lot more to cover, even with the foreclosures
Yes.
and the short sales. So
For sure.
I'd love to. So with our group here, thanks for joining the Facebook group and joining us tonight. The group is growing, and we've dedicated Thursday nights to special guests like yourself
Sure.
and
Thank you.
topics. So
Mhm.
I'd love to dive a lot deeper.
Sure.
Nancy and myself will reach out so that we can schedule whenever's convenient for you for a
For sure.
Thursday, another
For
Thursday.
sure. Yep.
I'd love to continue this conversation,
Yep.
but also the infinite banking one. So
Sure.
we'll have you on as many times as we can. This is going to be awesome. I need to connect with you as well, because we have quite a few deals. If you see Allie, I don't know if Allie's in here, but she heads up the acquisitions department, and then we have a lot of team members in here in our acquisitions department too. Graham is one of them, TJ, Cody, several people.
Mhm.
And we have a lot of opportunities, so I need to work with you on bringing you into our CRM so we can just more
Sure.
easily send you some of those leads. But for the people that aren't on our CRM and aren't on our team, what's a good way for them to reach out to you or connect with you to send you foreclosures and short sale? And do you have a preference, or is it both, or?
It doesn't matter. But, you guys can reach me out through Facebook, or I'll put out my number on the chat if you guys want to
Please. Yeah.
reach out. And then my email you can get at Nahid at mortgagerescuenationwide.com. Let me see. Sometimes I just write things too fast. Yeah, it's just mortgagerescuenationwide.com. You can reach me, email me, or that's my phone number.
All right, perfect. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome. I think Alex had to go through this last one. Homeowner I'm working with. Alex, are you on? Can you come on for a minute?
You want to unmute, Alex?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Hey, Nahid, yeah,
Yes.
thank you for all the value.
No problem.
So much information. I've been sitting here writing notes, and I think I recognize you. You work with Josh Norber, right?
Yes.
So
we
I've
do
watched
have-
I've watched the Zoom Vault, and you and Josh's stuff is such gold, and I love watching it. I knew I recognized you.
Thank you. Yeah, we're on the verge of making something for you guys that we're going to be in consistent program for you guys. So we actually were talking about that right before. So within next month, we're going to have something that everyone will be able, like, in consistent every week or every month. We're going to have a program that me and Josh is going to put together. And of course, you guys can see the stuff in the vault also. So,
Awesome. Awesome.
okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so I've been calling foreclosures, and I got in contact with this homeowner a couple days ago. Now he's been in bankruptcy, and he got behind on his arrears. He has quite a bit of arrears, but he sent me his mortgage statement, and he doesn't know who his carrier is because they've switched it on him multiple times. And so he said he's seen like 3 different letters from different people, and he's like, I have no idea where to go to get answers. I don't know. I've called them. They don't give me answers. He was just really frustrated and kind of lost. And he's like, I don't know what to do. And I've never encountered that. He's like, where do I go to try to get answers on who to even talk to, on who's holding my note, or did they sell it, or, and then he was also confused on another thing. He filed for he got some sort of HUD program,
probably
something to help him pay his arrears. And what his mortgage statement says is that it didn't go towards his arrears. It added to his balance. And so that arrangement, I guess, was he didn't have to pay that back until he eventually sold the house, I think is what he said. Anyway, kind of a big mess, and it was like a little over my head. I tried to provide as much value and talk to him, but he's pretty lost. He doesn't know what to do, and I'm just trying to figure out how to help him in the best way I can.
If you want, you can I can get on and we can go through it, but I could see a couple of things. That first of all, when the note goes on for the homeowner goes to foreclosure, that's the yummy part for the lenders. That's the yummy time for the lenders, because the lender can sell it at cheap while they're still making money for the next person that is buying it, is to work it out to make money out of it. It is like the one that I bought, the homeowner was in foreclosure, so I bought it at the discount and then tried to work it out with the homeowner so he can pay. Then it didn't work. He couldn't pay. So this is definitely that kind of situation. And it could be sold over and over, because every time that they sell it, they make money out of it. And they have to send a hello letter, goodbye letter, and the hello letter. So the old lender will send the letter, say, goodbye, I don't own your note anymore, and it's being sold out to this person, and this person is going to service it or own it from this point on. And the lender sends a hello letter, hey, I'm your new lender, and you, from now on, you have to pay me at this point. And this, as I said, it could happen so many times, and that's no wonder that he's going to go through the confusion. But as far as the program, he probably got a workout that they put his arrears on the back of the loan, and he didn't have to pay. He doesn't have to pay till he sell it. It's not a HUD program. It's the workout that the lender chose to give it to him right before they sell his note.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
Okay.
So, so he just have to be persistent in trying to call and find out, that who it is and what it is. And, if you want to, I can help you guys out on that. You can reach out, and then we'll see what we can do with them.
Absolutely. I would love that, Nahid. Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah, I definitely was just, it was a little over my head. I haven't quite had a scenario like that, and I was like pretty stumped, but he's real easy to talk to. And so that was, he was just looking for some answers. He did now apply for a loan modification, and he's waiting to hear back from that. And he has no problem selling the house. He's totally open to it and having that discussion. He's not attached to the home at all. He said, if he gets denied this loan modification, then he's agreed to sell. Him and his wife have agreed to sell, but he just went for the loan modification just to see what happens, and he's waiting on that. So we're waiting kind of to hear back from that. But I would love your help on it, and possibly even JV on it if or whatever.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, just reach out, whenever, and then we can go talk about it. No problem.
Awesome. Thank you, Nahid. I appreciate it.
Problem.
Thank you so much.
No problem. Anytime.
Great question, Alex.
Right.
Yeah, thank you so much, Nahid, for helping.
No problem. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
I want to thank you in advance for all the the opportunities that you're going to help people get through the finish line.
Thank you. I appreciated having me, and
100%. Yeah.
definitely would love to help you guys out.
I'd love to, like I said, we'll schedule another
Sure.
Thursday night where you're
Okay.
available. We can hop
Sure.
in. Then you can either talk about the infinite banking and that whole side.
Sure.
We can dive into. I'd love to have you as many times as we can on
Sure.
here. So
No problem.
I'll connect with you with Nancy, and
Okay.
we'll get a system set up here.
Great.
And yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, guys.
You
You guys have a great night.
Yeah, thank
Thank
you.
you
You're
so
welcome.
much. Great
You're
value. I
welcome.
appreciate you.
Right.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Thank you.
No problem. No
Thank you.
problem. Thank you, guys. Have a great night.